Go on, Jackie. Go on. Give the fans what they want. Tell them that you're staying. Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock podcast. We've got a massive show up for you today. We're going to talk about Jack Harrison, obviously, Raphinha, the new fee that's come out, preseason friendlies, where Archie Gray was subject to an assault, kettle chips, the new kit, of course, because we haven't spoken for a while. Women's Euros. Conor Gallagher tried to kick a ball. That was pretty funny. And tickets. And we've got to discuss it. My name's Adonis, and you know me as at the Adelites on Twitter. It's very good help from me. And to discuss it, we've got a very, very angry Machiavelli Big Mac at Ewan Metcalf. Ewan?
I know, yeah. I like.
Right. Yeah, and Barney from the internet at Barney LUFC 21.
Aye, you all right?
Very good, thank you, Barney. Very hot. I'm drinking an Alm Dudler. I bet you can't get that in England, can you?
Is that alcoholic?
No. Have you ever seen something more Austrian? There's two people in very Austrian dress, if you're listening on the podcast, on the front of it. Right, Leeds United may receive as little as £41 million from Barcelona for Raphinha as new figures emerge. And he scored a goal and got 2 assists on in 35 minutes or whatever, 45 minutes or whatever he played. Go on, Mac.
Good, yeah. Well done. Another example of our brilliant negotiating skills and terrible to be able to underestimate, undervalue, and sell players to other clubs far too cheaply is once again rearing its head. We've had it since, well, forever. Cantona, you name it, we started there, and it's fucking been just about as bad ever since. I just think it's appalling. I mean, we're probably going to come on to Phillips and the United article, but you know, players going out and mouthing off about their dream moves while they're still at a club is out of order, and it fucking lowers their value to everybody else and puts us in a really poor negotiating position. So I think the players are at fault for that bullshit. It's like, you know, and I think we just seem to be shit at it. I mean, I don't know, because I don't play Football Manager. I don't play FIFA. I'm not a football agent. I don't run a football club. But why are we so fucking? How does Jack Grealish? How does Villa get 100 million for Jack Grealish? You look at some of the players that have been sold. I mean, the guy that Brentford have just bought from Hull for 20 million. Am I getting twice as much for Raphinha, who, in a poor side, you know, for 2 years has dominated the division of being acclaimed as one of the greatest prospects, broken into the Brazil team. And I absolutely believe that we'll be getting less than people have been told for him, because the club are conscious that people are pissed off that we constantly sell players for far less than the value. Phillips has gone for less money than he should have done, and now Raphinha already would gone for less money than he should have done, and now we're finding out that maybe it's even less than we thought. It's fucking embarrassing, and it's no wonder we get into financial trouble, because you have to make sure your assets are moved on for not only the value but probably above the market value. Particularly Raphinha, where he's had two. Yeah, I didn't think he was great all last season, but listen, he still was the kind of marquee player for us, wasn't he, for the last 2 years, and he moves to one of the biggest clubs in the world for fuck all. It's embarrassing. Pissed off about it.
Ewan's ready to kill somebody today.
You might have noticed.
Barney?
I'm hiding it well.
Can you give us some positivity?
Not really, no. I think from the Grealish point of view, he had that clause in his contract where some club had to come in and pay an extortionate amount. I think
Why don't we do that?
Well, exactly. I think the worry for me again is that Raphinha only had 2 years left on his contract. Phillips only had 2 years left on his contract. Before, when we signed and we didn't put a clause into it, there's a talk about Harrison going to Newcastle. He's only got 2 years left on his contract. we don't seem to. It's been a really good summer so far in recruitment wise, but we seem to have a bit of a small minded the right word, or a bit of short term vision on securing our players at the club. So we need to look at the contracts, and if we think that player is going to be a prize gem player, like Joffrey, there's talk about him signing a new contract. There needs to be a clause in that contract. If anyone comes in, we will accept that, and that's it. Nothing else. I think with Raphinha going to Barcelona, it was his dream to go there. Fair play to him. He's finally got that dream. But Deco has played Leeds throughout this season, I think, and he's played Barcelona. He's promised Barcelona that we're going to get Raphinha on a cheap because they were thinking we were going to get relegated. That hasn't happened, and that's why it's got to this stage where Raphinha was adamant that he wanted to go to Barcelona. I have no issue that we're going to have to sell players to invest into the new team, but when you see players like Raphinha, who will probably actually blow the World Cup apart, I think, because of how he's performed in his first game for Barcelona already, it's going to be a bit. We sold him for 40 million when there's other players. There's some short-sighted vision in how we're signing players and what we're putting into their contracts, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
amateur as fuck, man.
There's the 41 million pounds up front, and then there's 10.25 million pounds in variables. But according to this report that I'm reading, most of that depends on or gets triggered by Barcelona winning the Champions League, which I feel like, even though they're spunking a lot of money on new players, I do feel that might be a little bit far-fetched. And like Bayern said, we need to see the money for Lewandowski up front, because we don't want you to amortize it over 5 years, because we don't believe you'll be in existence in 5 years' time. So it's all a bit weird, and you often find clubs have trigger contract extensions. So one year contract extension or 2 year contract extension. They also put release fees, like you've talked about, Ewan, with the 100 million and on Grealish. So I do feel like it's an area that really needs improving, to say the least.
Massively, and I think, you know what, you don't have to be an expert. You know, it's business, isn't it? That's their line of work. Surely you've got to protect your assets to the utmost extent, and we're not doing it. And it's happened for years and years and years. We've seen players leave for less money, and I talked about it before. You know, nobody minds a player moving on to a club that's going to be competing in the Champions League, winning things, and what have you. If it's your dream move, mate, fucking announce it when you're on the kit, on their pitch, in their kit. Don't do it when you're still playing for fucking Leeds, because it completely undermines our position in negotiating your sale. And I don't care, you know, it's this, let's be nice to players because he did really well in that last game to drag us over the line. Fuck that. He moves on and he's not our player anymore. Leeds United, we're bigger than Raphinha. We'll be here longer than Raphinha's playing football. You know what I mean? So fuck him. He stays, he keeps his mouth shut, he does the job that he's paid to do, but handsomely. He chose to move from a fucking farm league to come and play in the Premier League for Leeds. You know, let's not pretend we owe these people fucking stuff. You know, Phillips I feel slightly differently about, but still the same. The only team I'm going to go as Man City. Great, so that's fucking that's just not 20 million off your price. It's embarrassing, and if the club aren't protecting it through contractual and legal stuff, that's embarrassing. It's amateur as fuck. You've got to be conscious. You've got to be careful what you read, because you don't know what the reality is. But I get that sense, you know. Leicester modelled my arse. Leicester move players on for top money at a time where they're at their prime. Fucking, you know, Brighton have just warded off, who was it, Man City and Chelsea for Cucurella, basically saying you either pay that money or fuck off, and he'll probably end up staying. We haven't got the negotiating power of fucking Bloom at bloody Brighton. It's embarrassing. Do it properly or fuck off. Simple.
Yes, when you think about Leicester selling Maguire for 80 million,
useless.
Which is twice the value of Phillips, and you know, that's Raphinha and Phillips combined for one Maguire. That doesn't seem right.
Is this because of the fact that we're new into the Premier League? We are a newly promoted team. We are working with these agents that are super agents within European football, and we're not quite there yet. I mean, Brighton are an established Premier League team. They are well ahead of us in terms of progression on and off the pitch, and we see some of the stuff we are trying to do. It does feel like sometimes we're trying to run before we can walk in certain areas.
Okay. Jorge Mendes has said that Helder Costa will not struggle to find a new club.
I can't see a queue of people for him, to be frank. There's not a massive queue at the door, mate, knocking the door down.
What are you talking about, Ewan? He's great. He would. Any team would be lucky to have him in there. Did you watch the preseason friendlies? Should we talk about Leeds versus Villa? And I just want to say hello to all the people in the chat. Nora, my favourite internet people. Derek Moore says, "Evening, lads." Evening all says Bremner's Ghost. I'm surprised you're back, Derek, because at the end of the podcast, at the end of the last one, you were off. You'd had enough around the time when we were discussing our OnlyFans and me getting naked and lathered up on the couch. Behind Phillips was a fair deal, but we go road on the Rafa deal. Rogue. Mandy Fornoski, if Barcelona don't pay up on time, we should take Raphinha back off them. Interesting. That would be another one for Cass, wouldn't it? And Derek Moore, Rafa was the best technical player we ever had, and we sold him for pittance.
Yes, Derek, I agree. Fucking joke, man.
Okay, Leeds 0, Aston Villa 1. Were either of you awake?
Dirty bastards, Villa. No, was I? No. I don't watch pre-season friendlies. You know. Not in Australia at bloody 5 o'clock in the morning. Jesus, no thanks.
I watched the highlights on the app. It's also available on YouTube as well. And I mean, you can take highlights with a pinch of salt, but we seem quite good going forward, attacking threat. I think Harrison is going to look a very, very good player for us. He's one of those midfielders, and dare I say, he reminds me of a Bowyer. He runs with the ball and then he likes to get into the box at the last minute, which we haven't seen that from a midfielder for quite a few seasons now. So I think we're going to get more goals from elsewhere on the pitch that we've been struggling for, probably even under Bielsa as well. There's only certain players that was scoring. So I think Aronson's going to be really good. Rocker looks a class act, if I'm honest. Looks really, really good. Archie Gray, I mean, what McGinn did to him, I don't agree with it that because he's 16, you shouldn't be doing those tackles. If you're going to be playing in the men's league, you're old enough to handle stuff. But that tackle for pre-season was nasty. But Archie Gray, I mean, for 16 years old, he looks an absolute class act. Just looks ridiculously good already. I saw some of the highlights when we played at York as well, and he seems to dictate a play a little bit as well. For a 16-year-old, it's ridiculous. Yeah,
it was an interesting game. I like the comparison from Aronson to Bowyer because he does feel a bit jangly, jerky. You know, he looks like his arms are longer than his legs at times. You know, because he's flapping them around. So much
like Mr. Tickle. It's like Mr.
Tickle. I think he needs to get a bit sharper in front of goal because you're right, he gets into these great positions. But I actually thought that Joffy worked better with those other players than Bamford did. I feel like Joffy's he's got vision and he's very, very quick with his feet and likes those tiki-taka passes, and we did look a little bit better, I think, with Joffy against Brisbane Roar than with a very rusty Bamford. But the player that impressed me the most was Tyler Adams. And he's one of those players who you don't really notice because he doesn't really do anything exceptional, but he doesn't do anything badly. You know, he is constantly harrying and pressing very well. But when he gets the ball, he's so silky and he just does his job so well. I think he's going to be a great player for us. Matt?
They're going to have to be out there. That's the thing. I think we talk about the recruitment during the summer. And I think time will only tell when we get into the proper season, the full season. So, yeah, I mean, the clips I've seen of Adams particularly impressed massively. And I think what I've seen of Rocker so far, as Barney says, he does look classy, good on the ball, wonderful left foot. And we have needed a box-to-box midfielder who contributes goals-wise, which I don't think we've had for a while. So hopefully Aronson can be that. I think if you look at the tackle, we'll talk about the tackle. That seems to be the biggest talking point. And Villa have obviously been at it again against Brisbane Roar because that kid. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the kid that Dinya fouled, who had blood all down his socks. So they've definitely started quick. Listen, I'd like Leeds to probably go into friendlies, being a little bit more aggressive into the season, being a little bit more aggressive if I'm frank. So I can't really speak ill of Villa being competitive. You could argue dirty, whatever. That's one of the problems with playing a boy in a man's league, though. He's still a boy, and he's going to pick up injuries. He's going to get knocked about. People are going to. If it were me, an experienced pro, you'd play on that. He's inexperienced, and he probably is fragility in a way. His lack of physical kind of presence, but. Good players find a way to get through that, don't they? So, and I'm sure Gray will do exactly that with the kind of prestige he's got in his family, the kind of football kind of heritage he's got. He'll find a way, won't he? But it's going to take some time. We've got 2 games next season against Villa to show John McGinn what it's all about, and hopefully, the thing I was more disappointed about was the fact that nobody went and give him it straight after. If somebody on one of my Sunday league teams or a Saturday team, did a young kid like that, fucking next time they got the ball, somebody was taking retribution quick, or at least giving him it off the ball, when he committed the foul. So that was the most disappointing thing. We haven't seemed to have bonded as a team again yet, which is slightly disappointing.
I don't think that's the case, just because it was the circumstances of the game at that time. Basically, the ref had lost control, and it was tit for tat tackles, like you said, like you were asking for, Matt. And I mean, the really obvious one was Bamford, who leapt for a ball and he got shoved in the back while he was midair. So he landed really awkwardly on his back. I mean, it could have been much worse. But then the very next exchange, Bamford ran like 20 yards to smash this guy in the leg. But the problem was that it was escalating. It had happened several times, and McGinn was the latest escalation kind of thing, and that's I think that's probably why McGinn was responding to a tackle that Archie Gray made, but he clearly got the ball and he barely touched. Tackle. Yeah.
He made the most of it. I'd have escalated McGinn into the front row of the stand. That's simple as that. I don't give a shit about any of that. He'd have got levelled. Next tackle, next time he got the ball, he'd have got kicked up in air. Simple as that. And that's the thing I found disappointing. Again, I didn't watch the game, so probably I'm commenting from a very, sort of partisan and part-time sort of viewer's way of looking at it. But, the way that nobody kind of went up and grabbed his collars or pulled his hair or nicked his bollocks or stuck the finger up his ass was just like disappointing. We should point out that we don't condone any of those activities on or off the pitch, unless it's consensual. Mike P. Sadio Mane for 35 million. Was that a poor deal? I think overall we've done okay. But the thing is, Mike, that Sadio Mane had 1 year left on his contract and he wasn't going to sign a new deal. So that's... How old's Mane? I don't know how old he is either.
He's 29, isn't he? Around that sort of age.
That's the difference, Matt Leeds, did you see Villa injured a Brisbane Roar player as well when they played them? Yeah, Dinya, yeah, I saw blood on the sock. Derek Moore, honestly, Nora, it was the best part of my day. How sad that is. I always talk about. Derek watched the podcast back, and he broke a bollocks laughing. R.I.P. to your future children, Derek. I hope you got that stitch back together.
Oh, we're going down there. Right?
Brendan's Ghost, hope McGinn gets smashed when we play them next. Joffrey would play football in a phone box, says Derek. Michael Brown.
I love that. I love that. I like that.
I like that. Yeah, it's interesting because we're looking at a new striker, aren't we? We're looking at a new forward, and the kettle chips. We might as well talk about him now. Leeds United ready to react immediately if AC Milan fail with final Charles de Ketelaere bid. I mean, what? I mean, I know there's a little bit of haggling going on, but Club Bruges must be getting as annoyed as we were with Barcelona. Just pay up. Pay the price.
DePaul too.
Or let him come to a much better club. Too. Why would you want to go to Milan anyway? Yeah.
To be fair, I've been to Milan, and where the church, the big church is, a cathedral, and the shopping, the big church
Colosseum,
and the shopping centre, which is not like Miriam Centre.
The Andale Centre, in Milan. Yeah.
That bit's nice, but the rest of the city is just very not what you expect for what you thought of Milan would be. I've been, and I was like, is that it? And you were walking for miles just to find some sort of nice building. A lot of it's very industrial.
Barney's like, we got that in Harrogate. We've got that.
Yeah, we've got.
This isn't very impressive.
Well, I went on the tube, and that scares the hell out of me. The tube. How you understand the tube, I'd never know. My wife loves it, but I'm like, she's like, right, we're gonna go there. I'm like, I've no fucking idea where we're going here. And I'm literally one of those people where I walk up the stairs like, how do you get here? Like that. But going back to the actual proper football, what we're meant to be talking about, I think the fact that we can outmuscle financially Milan, who are a massive team in Europe, playing in the Champions League, just shows how massive and the money the Premier League has. It's absolutely incredible. But a few years ago, we couldn't even afford £100,000, or we got excited about spending £1 million on Luke Murphy, and now we're actually outbidding a club that's playing in the Champions League. It's just absolutely crazy, really.
We've always been better than Milan, Barney. Do you remember Don Matteo?
Don Matteo. Yeah.
He scored a fucking great goal in the San Siro.
You've been a bit of a foodie, Barney. I thought you'd have liked Milan. Although I don't think the food's as good there as it is everywhere else in Italy.
Some of the restaurants were fantastic, but we were like proper tourists, and we were led down like where the shopping places, and we were going into those restaurants there, and you're paying through the nose for the food there. And to be honest, it wasn't great.
Yeah, it's average.
But go back to the tube. There was every time the tube stopped, it sounded like a Yaz song.
Which one?
And
The Only Way Up.
Yeah, and that sound of the.
Baby, for you and me now.
And every time it starts, we used to sing that. Anyway,
speaking of tubes, I learned something about MI5 and the Secret Service. Is that in their old building before GCHQ, before the new building, before the internet, they had tubes, and they sent people tubes. No. This is the Leeds podcast, isn't it? Leeds. Okay.
Speaking of tubes, I'm having a vasectomy.
Yeah.
I'm a bollocks. I'm like a tomcat, me. Fucking hell, you can't cut mine. I'd be like, fucking hell, I'm like a prowler at night. I don't want to be laid on the sofa. I don't want to be laid on the sofa all lethargic and not bothered anymore. I'm fucking. What about if I meet a new bird? What about if she divorces me and I've got to get with some young girl?
You would advocating fingers up bums, retribution, and prowling at night.
Prowling at night.
The prowler. Lovely. Michael Brown, I like the rocker and foreshore partnership.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rein it in, not get too crazy too early, too soon. They seem to complement each other. I think Tyler Adams and Rocker will take time to gel, but it's all good competition in midfield. Matt Leeds, I thought Bamford had his back broken when he flipped. I was scared for a second. That's happened to me. That happened to me in high school, actually, in Australia, and by a guy called Aidan or Adrian Pratt. And I got up and I pointed at him and I said, "Pratt is a great name for you." Anyway.
What an insult! But it was
yeah. And I was yelling at his mates as well. I was like, "Yeah, oh, you're all cowards. You'll be next. When he stops bullying other people, he's going to turn on you." Anyway, so my childhood trauma. I was bullied. Brendan's goes, we all love Dirty Leeds. Derek Moore, that rocker and foreshore partnership looking tasty for this season. Derek Moore accusing us of being piss-taking CUNTs. Michael Brown, I think Joffrey has looked the best striker for Leeds in pre-season, could well emerge as Leeds' main striker this season. Not totally sold on Bamford full fitness yet. He still looks fragile to me. He's always looked fragile, Michael.
Yeah.
Although it was nice when he ran up and booted that player and looked him in the eye and was pointing in his face. That was fantastic. Go on, Paddy. Get a bit of working class in you. That's what you need, Paddy.
I hope we see
need to fight for your bread.
I hope we see the Paddy of 2 seasons ago, me. I'm not convinced. I don't know if he's lost it.
Maybe that's the solution. Send him down the mines for a bit. Toughen him up.
Yeah, he definitely needs a bit of that.
Okay, Leeds, Victor Orta interested in Aston Villa's Carney Chukwuemeka. There you go. £20 million. Austrian born, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right, new kit. Are you going to shock everyone, Ewan? Because you actually like it.
I do. Yeah, it's got... it reminds me very much of those kind of late 80s. Well, yeah, more early 90s type shirts. The shiny, the armband's really nice. The kind of neck, the round neck's great. I like it. I like the sort of watermark, the LUFC, the old sort of 1972 watermark's brilliant. So I really like everything about it. You know, the blue, I like the Adidas, the dark blue stripes rather than that horrible yellow ones we had last year. So I think it's the best white or home kit Adidas have done. I know I've not done many, but it's hard to get a white kit wrong. But I think they've made a lot of mistakes with the previous one. But yeah, I like it a lot. Right, like it a lot. Really nice. I won't buy one because I don't buy them, but I think it looks great. It looks good on the players, and it'll be a nice kit. Well done. About time.
Barnes, new kit. You like it?
I like it. It's like Ewan said. It's that sort of shiny sort of material, and I didn't quite notice the LUFC at first, and then I zoomed in. I thought that's a really nice touch, and because apparently that's to do with the FA Cup win in '72. So it's a nice touch, that. But apparently the only frustration, again, is that it's a late announcement. Apparently it's Adidas' fault with the actual distribution of it, which is a little bit frustrating, really, because the amount of shirts that Leeds will sell, and obviously they will only concentrate on the other clubs like Arsenal and Scum, but the amount of shirts they could sell for us as well, it's just... that little bit there is a little bit frustrating when you're going to see the players start the season at home against Wolves, and you're going into the club shop and you can't buy it.
Yeah, it's annoying. I'm going to shock you even further. I think they're going to bring 3 good kits out this year. I think the thing about Adidas is they are a bit of a pain in the arse because they do tend to prioritise the kind of tier 1 teams, but I think they'll learn. They do seem to learn the lessons quickly, and I think you can tell by that the new home team shirt that they have learned those lessons quickly.
3. Do you have some information on the third kit?
Well, yes. I'm nothing I can divulge, but I've got a feeling there'll be 3 nice kits this year. So watch this.
Is it black?
Black would be good. Black. Is it black?
I'm wearing it. It's just not got the logos. Yeah, it's there'll be three good kits this year. I reckon. Adidas learned the lesson, they've done a good job, and everybody will be shocked to hear that I'll probably like all 3 and won't buy any of them.
Adidas distribution company, aren't they? They don't design the kits. Is that right?
Yeah, they must have some say design, surely. Adidas, you'd think so, with all the original stuff. Mind you, some of the trainers I'm seeing come out recently, I'm not sure. I think they must have passed on the mantle.
I think it's like, like the style, like the cut.
Yeah.
The cut, but and goalkeepers obviously they do the goalkeeper designs. But everything else, I think, is up to the club.
Okay, no, don't leave it to them. Okay, no. Can't even sell football players for the right money, let alone design kits. I'm thinking back to Gaviscon. You
can just imagine Andrea turning up with his pencil case. Lads, I've got an idea. And then Angus is like...
Rads with his crayons.
And then Angus is like, Andrea, just calm down. Let's just think about this logically.
Right, yeah.
Victor scribbling madly. And Andrea with his Etch-a-Sketch. Okay, no.
I like to blow in the air, but maybe we can get some electric pink in here.
Yeah.
All right, Victor.
Sit down, Victor.
Milan is beautiful, says Nora. There you go. Derek Moore, we're going down a rabbit hole again. Love it. Bandy, I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't think it matters what players we have on our books. Our Jesse seems to be a poor tactician. Everyone's getting into Jesse. What was it? A fish-eyed fool last pod.
Fish-eyed fool, yeah.
What? Ewan likes a shirt, says Nora. I can't believe it. Yes, it's very beautiful. Hey, Adonis, says Bandy. Yes, Bandy. Hey, Bandy. At the beginning of last season, you said that there would be some sort of prize for the best or most loyal subscriber. What happened to that?
Fuck all happened to it. It just went by the way. Like most of our things, it went by the wayside. But
you realise that we're up to one pod every fortnight, and even that can get a bit too much for us. Sorry, Bandy.
More podcasts. You get more podcasts. That's what happens.
I have to admit, the prices and the logistics of sending things from Vienna, which is where I live, into the non-EU zone, which is where you live, proved to be a bit of an obstacle, to be honest. There's like customs and all sorts of stuff now, but hopefully we're going to move to England, so after that then we can start doing merch and all sorts of things. Derek, when are the kits available to buy? Late August. Sorry, what were you saying, Matt?
No, I'm just saying. Let's be frank, and it would be down to Adonis to do any of that organisational shit, because I definitely won't be doing it, and I've got a funny feeling Barney won't be either. He's too busy cooking or sitting in his garden drinking or whatever, like me. So yeah.
Yes, it's me. It's down to me. Right, we're going through these swimmingly. We're definitely halfway. So Gary Speed, you had something that you wanted to talk about there.
No, do you know what? I was only a quick comment. I don't think we touched on it because the gaps, obviously, with the close season in the podcast. But Andy's Man Club did a walk which involved. I don't know what the numbers were. I don't do detail. I think anybody who watches this enough knows that. But there was. It
was the square ball, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was square ball were involved, but it was for Andy's Man Club, and people like John Howe, who's a friend of ours, and other people I know went from Gary Speed's first ever football pitch in the north of Wales and walked to Ellen Road. I think it's 92 miles. And did it in like 4 days, which is some going. I mean, I've done some walks coast to coast and other bits and bats, and St Oswald's Way, and walking sort of 11, 12, 15 miles a day sometimes is can be tough going, and especially that particular route is tough. Across from Wales, across sort of Lancashire into Yorkshire is hard, and I just think it was a great accomplishment and raised. I think it was about £60,000. But I also wanted to say that, which is for a great cause. Andy's Man Club is an amazing cause as well. But there was a lad, Lee, is at just simply Lee on Twitter, who missed, I guess doing a big walk like that, which I've done, the camaraderie amongst everybody and the way you drag each other through sometimes when it gets is all part of it. And it helps you when you're at your low points and you think, I can't do it, or you've got a blister, or you've got an injury that's sort of causing you to think, you know what, I might pack it in. People drag you through. But this lad went and did it, a week later because he couldn't make the the original gang that did it, and walked that same route in 4 days. I think it was on his own. I think people joined him to help him out, but predominantly on his own, which I think is a remarkable feat and a great great achievement for Lee. But he's also ginger and very pale, and it was during a heat wave. So not only had to contend with the rigors of walking 92 miles in 4 days, but had to contend with a heat wave with his complexion. So amazing achievement, and raising more money for a bleak cause. I just wanted to touch on that very, very quickly.
Good on you, Lee. Well done, Lee.
Well done, Lee.
The Leeds Forrest Gump. Yeah, good cause. Andy's Man Club. If you need to talk to someone, we've got a past episode where we had an interview with Anne and Andy from Andy's Man Club, not the Andy who the club was named after, who committed suicide. So that's what it all came about, to get people talking, to encourage men to talk, because as you know, we don't talk as a gender, although we do, because
we talk too much. Yeah,
right. That's why we channel it.
Usually about shit. Though. And you know what though, it's a good point though, because we do talk about nonsense, but sometimes that masks what people's true feelings are. I read the thing about Robin Williams today, saying that sad people always are the ones that want to make people laugh because they know what it's like to be low and feel in complete despair, and they want to cheer other people up. So it is a really serious point that we should talk more. We should feel like we can divulge when we're having struggles with our fellow man, because often it can be other lads and geezers that kind of help you through that. So anything that promotes that, I work in an industry at the moment, construction, which still has a really high suicide rate. We've had stories recently of lads being found on the building site, hung from rafters, gassing themselves. And I don't want to get too serious. It's probably not the platform our podcast, is it? But it's really sad, and we've started to do a training course now, a mental health at work training course as part of our training program. So we do a lot of construction training programs, and we've built in sort of more softer training to actually help with the human side of the industry, because it is still an industry that, particularly construction, tough, construction lads don't talk and sort of often laugh off problems they might be having at home or outside of work, and it leads to a really bad and dark place. So it is a serious point. So anything that can promote and provoke conversation amongst blokes to sort of talk and share some of the things they might be anxious or worried about, and help them through it is a massively good thing.
Yep. Barney, do you need to talk about anything?
I'm like anyone. I've had struggles, but I'm probably one of those people that wears my heart on my sleeve a lot of the time. So if I'm not feeling great, I'll probably tell someone I'm not feeling great. But
yeah, towards the end of last season, you started to worry about it.
I think people just need to understand, just stop being dickheads to people online, and just a lot of people are struggling, especially at the moment, because it's not getting any easier with life at the moment, with the cost of living and stuff like that. So a lot of people are probably in the same boat as well. So just think about that.
Yeah.
There you go. Some fantastic advice. Right, the Women's Euros. You been watching that?
I'm going on Tuesday.
Are you?
Yeah, I've got tickets.
Right. Go on,
Brilliant,
Barney.
Is that Sheffield? You got the Sheffield?
England semi-final.
Yeah, England semi-final. Yeah, my uncle managed to get some. So I've been watching, and I don't want to sound like some 40-year-old bloke. Well, I am a 40-year-old bloke on a podcast. But I've been watching some of the football, and I don't want this to come across this badly, but it's actually really good standard of football, a lot of it. I know it sounds awful thing to say.
Just sound so surprised, man.
I know, yeah.
You'll get us cancelled.
No, but it's actually some really good standard of football. I didn't watch all the game last night. I probably watched 40 minutes or so. But the pressing that England were doing was absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know if it was me, but some of it was on a bit of a man marking system as well, where there was like individual battles in that game as well.
Woman marking or a person marking?
Person marking, yeah. Sorry. But it was some really good football last night. And I think the way England have been playing in the tournament as well, I think they were probably being led into a false pretense. Probably not the players, but maybe the fans, because of not conceded any goals yet. They've not come up against any top quality side, but against Spain, you could see that I can't remember the coach's name for England. Sorry, but when she brought on the substitutions, it was a very good tactical nous there, and it seemed to change the game for England.
Yeah, it's like Vega or something, isn't it? Vegan.
Yeah. She's Dutch, isn't she?
She's like the female version of when Sven came over to England.
Yeah, I think the thing about England, they haven't been tested yet, but they've also got a really good squad depth, so they can bring on substitutions that make a massive difference. I've watched most of the England games, and I've actually started watching some of the neutral games just because I quite enjoy it, because it's a little bit more innocent. It's a bit more. It's probably not as technical. It's a bit more straightforward, so it's sometimes a bit more enjoyable to watch. You know, they want to get the ball forward quickly, and it's a bit more kind of not basic, but that'll be disrespectful. But you know, I really enjoy watching it. I've enjoyed it. I was going to send out a tweet the other day being sarcastic, saying, "Oh, the football. It's about time we stop being sarcastic about this thing. God Almighty, have you seen how fit that German right back is? Wow, you know, like I better not, because it'll be taken badly and it'll be misconstrued. It's just me having a laugh, but God, she was fit. Anyway,
the Spanish one.
Oh, there was a few, but you know that I thought last night's game, I watched it all. There was a bit of needle there. You know, the Spanish were doing what the old Spanish man's team were doing, where they were play acting a bit and rolling around a bit. And
there was some proper shit housing going on.
Yeah. Tried to complain that, you know, when we scored the equaliser, that girl had fouled her and she just won a really clean header. There's a lot of hand gestures and rolling about and theatrics and stuff. So I thought he started to sort of get invested in it, because it was like, oh, we want to beat these now because they've been a bit shithousy. So, but you know what? I thought, you know, some of the players get like the Hemp and. You know, what's the girl up front that scores a lot of goals? Ellen Wright, is it? And
White.
Ellen White, sorry.
Former Leeds player.
Yeah, you know, some of those get some of the plaudits, but I'll tell you what, Stanway and Walsh in the middle of midfield were absolutely outstanding. All that, and technically good, passing was brilliant, reading the game, you know, looking for quite complicated passes and threading passes through sort of 3 or 4. I thought they were outstanding. And the goal that the girl scored, the second goal, Stanway, I mean, just sort of didn't look like she was going to shoot no backlift, and just, you know, what a great finish. So really enjoyed it, and, you know, good, because it's about time they got some credit, because they get enough shit and there's still a lot of jokes, which I quite like, a bit of humour about it all. But they're playing some great football, and I think the country's getting behind them. You've seen that the selling out stadiums. I think it was 9 and a bit million people watched the game last night on the telly. Good. You know, football's for everybody. If there's one thing that football can do, it can unify. It can, you know, get rid of a lot of, you know, hatred. I know there's a lot of things come with football, you know, but it's a unifier, isn't it? It's a universal language, and I think football's for everyone. And it's proving at the moment that, you know, the competition, particularly a Euros type competition like that, that's been televised the way it has, prime time telly in England, it's people are getting behind it. Good, brilliant.
Yeah, I think it was the World Cup in 2015, and I was in Amsterdam, the Women's World Cup, and I didn't know if it was just the copious amounts of drugs I was on because I was living in Amsterdam. But that was the first women's tournament that I watched, and I was really blown away by the quality. And it's not, but I was surprised, and it's only because you read things about like a women's team play a men's team, for example, or a boys team, and they will get absolutely thrashed. And this is the argument that Fina were talking about with allowing trans sports people to play to represent the gender that they associate with, and that if someone's gone through male puberty, then they wouldn't be able to compete in women's sport, for example. So that's where the perception comes from, because if you look at any sport, men are obviously physically stronger, and so the games are quicker, and it's more technical in some ways. But I think a lot of that is just down to the professional nature of men's sport has been around for so long, whereas women's even like the elite tier of football in the women's game in England was a bit like Sunday League or something, where all the players also had part-time jobs, whereas now you're seeing the benefits of sort of 20 years of professionalism of players being paid to play football. And it's been incredible. The standard has been incredible. That match last night was one of the best knockout games I've seen, men or women.
Yeah, proper competitive. Fighting right till the last minute. Spain could quite easily have won it and kept coming back when you thought they were out of it. I thought Spain felt we were out of it with 5-6 minutes left. They were coasting. I mean, it just had everything in it, and that's what football's all about. So, and the comparison between men and women, look, it's irrelevant. So what? Let them fucking play each other. It's fine. My lad played Leeds United. It's fine with it. Just have level competition, women against women. It doesn't matter whether it's better than men or they can compete. But so what? They had my lad played for his sort of Saturday team. He played Leeds United's under 14 girls, so the year above. And they beat him. My lad's team, his Sunday team, beat him 15-0. And you could tell how technically gifted these players were and how good they were on the ball, but they weren't physically or even like fitness-wise able to kind of keep up at times. But so what? They're obviously a very good footballer. And if you played against other girls, other women, whatever, it makes for a brilliant spectacle, and that's what sport's all about. It's an entertainment business. Was last night's game entertaining? Was it thrilling? Was it encapsulating? Was it hard to take your eyes? Absolutely, and good on them. Yeah, Julia Gwynn, who plays for age 23, German right back. Whoa, one for the I can't do it, can I? I can't just be sincere and be nice. I've got to ruin it.
I mean, you can be attracted to people, can't you?
Yeah, but to be fair, when Leeds sign a player, I mean, Robin Koch is a very, very good-looking bloke. I will admit that. But there will be girls on social media saying, "Oh, he's well fit." I'd do his laces up for him, kind of thing.
Rasmus.
But if a bloke says that on social media, "Oh, you big nonce," you can't say that. You can't, can you?
I tell you who impressed me last night, Bon Mati.
Yeah,
she was very much in that kind of Busquets role. Really she was so good. She just controlled the game in midfield for Spain. Fantastic. And Del Castillo as well. Who was just incredible. Right winger. She plays for Real Madrid, and Bon Mati's a Barcelona player. So it was a really great game. It was so good.
I did notice one thing though with the Spanish coach. There must be some sort of look as a Spanish coach you've got to have. He had the beard. he had the grey flecks in his hair. He had an absolutely immaculate suit. that was very, very well made for him. It was very tight on him. He had to have his hands like that a lot of the time. Maybe the odd thing, in the belt. You're not putting your hands in your pocket quite yet, but you're going to put your hands in your belt, so you look relaxed, you look fine, and then you do the odd pointing now and again. It was very, very Spanish coaching.
Yeah,
style.
he's gonna give your wife a yoga class. On the weekend, which you're not going to be worried about at all. It's called Vegan Adonis. I don't know what Nora's referring to there. Stu Nick, they don't stay down pretending to be injured. A few of them did, Stu. Let me tell you. Bandit, I have been watching the women's game since 1989. The only problem I have with it, the goal should be 6 inches shorter and 6 inches narrower. Well, a lot of women have that problem with me. Actually, they prefer me to be 6 inches shorter and 6 inches narrower. God.
Oh dear.
Nora, they don't have the luxury of that. Gordon White, good evening, fellas. Good to see you again. Good evening, Gordon. Good to see you. And Matt Leeds, I might go to a game as I live in Australia for the Women's World Cup. Go on, Matt. Get in there. Do it. You're not going to regret it. I lived in Australia for 11 years, Matt. It's and now I've come back to Europe, and the weather feels exactly the same. Bandit, the women's game has less cheating. I don't know about that. What was it? What was it David Brent says on The Office? He's like, women are filthy. Can you remember someone Prince puts his face on some image from porn and distributes it around the office, and he's like, whichever bloke has done this, or a woman, it could be a woman, women are filthy. Oh dear. Nora, my mum explained to me the other day how she prefers women's football because they play nicer with each other, and I thought that was very cute. It is very cute, and they are the fairest species, aren't they? I constantly talk about how good male footballers look. There you go. Right, tickets. You've tried to buy a ticket today, Big Mac.
Oh,
how did that go?
You managed to, we talk about men talking and making, feeling better about being with your. You made me feel really happy. Now you're going to bring me back down that fucking deep dark hole of trying to buy a fucking ticket for Leeds United, right? So some of it, admittedly, is my fault, right? I'm going to tell you a fucking very, very brief version of this story. There is the short version. So I'll get some Cagliari tickets for me and my lads today, and it's very hard to, during the season to get tickets, 3 of us together, and my lads are young, too young to be able to go on their own, so need to be chaperoned. So I thought I'll go on and do that. Got on early, queued up. I was on at 1 o'clock, about 5 to 1. I started logged on, and I was still, I can't remember what my number was, 3,000 and something. There's 3,000 and something people in front of you. Queue went down reasonably quickly. I was probably on about 15, 16, 17 minutes, started to get close. Clicks you through onto the site, put in your membership number and password. So I put my password in, my membership number, password. No, that's not right. Well, I've got my password written in my phone, so it's not like my memory's, I know I'm old now, but my memory wasn't playing. So I've written it down, and I'm like, right, okay. Put it in again. I must have typed it wrong. You can't look at what you've typed, by the way. You can't do the show password bit, so it's like, okay, now. So forget password. You've forgotten password. I'll stick that in. This is the shortened version, by the way. So forget on password. It fucking knocked me out of the site. So instead of just doing forgotten password, it said you had 20 minutes to book a ticket. I thought it'd take me out and get me straight back into book it. No, I've got to start queuing up again because I've got in to do the forget password bit. So I do all that, queue up again. Fair to them, it went down really quickly. It's probably only waiting 5 minutes. I was back to the front of the queue. Booked me, for some reason, when I'm looking at the seats, I'm looking in the north stand, so I'm looking in the cop. Want to be near the front because the kids want to maybe, look at meet the new players and whatever, and be near the pitch. So, yeah, booked some tickets in the cop, and it kept when I'm booking on N6 or N5 area, when I'm going to book ticket on, it brings me up in the West Ham paddock. Like, what? I fucking don't want to be at West Ham paddock. I want to be in North stand in cop. So it had a bit of dicking about with that. Anyway, eventually gets through, gets 2 tickets for my lads. Very good price as well. I think it was 25 quid for all 3 of us go, which is brilliant.
That's good.
Yeah, brilliant. 5 each for them, 15 quid for me, superb, right? So goes on, books with 3 slots, goes to check out. There's 4 tickets in there, 2 adults and 2 Ewans. So I was like, fucking hell. So I clicked on delete one of the adults. The one that was the furthest down the list. So there was my adult, 2 kids, an adult at the bottom. Deleted that one. I've only gone and fucking deleted the one in the cop next to my kids, and I'm now sat in the West Ham. The fucking 11 and 13-year-old sat in the cop on their own. I'm like, what the fuck? So by this time, I checked out. Yeah, hiya lads. Well, that's probably not a bad idea with my children to be in a different stand, to be fair. But it wasn't intentional. It was an accident, but it was partly because it had thrown this random West Ham ticket in, and I've still got a job to do. I run businesses, so I wasn't probably concentrating. I was on a phone call, and I clicked on the wrong one. Whatever. It's partly me. So I've now got to go about trying to, renegotiate that ticket. So rings the ticket office like you do. The obvious way to do it, right? We're really busy. Try the website. Fucking hell, great. Really busy. Try the website. Went and sent a message to the ticket office on the website. We'll be back to you in 7 working days. I thought the game's in fucking nearly that. You know what I mean? That's no good. Eventually got through the office. And to be fair, I think the girl's called Ria. Absolutely lovely girl. Don't do enough. Don't worry. We'll sort it out. Yeah, we'll try and
give her a pay rise.
A funky way of doing it where we'll just get. Yeah, she's great. What a good girl Ria is, and she rung me straight back. I thought she'd cut me off at one point. I was going to be heartbroken, but she didn't. She came back. She was like, "Right, I've got customer services on Twitter. Get another email. It'll have your ticket on. We'll either send you a single ticket or we'll send the 3 tickets again." They sent the 3 tickets again. All good, right? So I'm thinking, brilliant. We're all sat together. Ace goes to try and download my ticket. So it's got this Apple, put it in your Apple wallet on the email. Just nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Right, so I'm pressing on this Apple wallet. I can't download them to my Apple wallet now. So I've still got 3 tickets technically that I can't use because they won't transfer into my Apple wallet. So I think quickly, I got a bit of time at the end of the day. I'll ring ticket office again and just say, is there something I'm doing wrong? I'm sure there's not because I use Apple Wallet a lot. The guy picks the phone up. They close at 5:15. He picked it up at 5:10. Again, I rung about 3 times. You've got to listen to loads of shit about home tickets and away tickets and da before you get through.
I'm starting to regret asking you about this now.
Guy answers. I know. I've got to get it out of the fucking system. You said you wanted men to I'm talking at. Right. So I goes on. I clicks it. The guy picks the phone up and starts trying to help me, and then cuts me fucking off. And then I ring again, and the ticket office is closed. It's like, I'm cursed. I'm proper cursed when it comes to Leeds United tickets. That's why I don't go.
So, the first person you spoke to was Ria.
I think she was called Ria. The second guy was called Dyer.
You sure it's not? You sure it wasn't Andrea or Andrea?
No, it could have been. No, it was definitely a.
And he's like, "No, you're not. You don't like my shirts. You don't like my recruitment. You're not having a fucking ticket off me."
Might have been.
Do you not think we don't know who you are?
Yeah.
You and Metcalf, Big Mac.
I think we watched the Roaring Peacock podcast. You're an absolute. So you're not coming. Anyway, the long and the short of it is I've still got 3 tickets on an email that I can't actually download onto my phone. So bring the ticket up again. So probably a 5-minute job that everybody else seems to manage fine. And I'm sure some of this is down to me, but some of it's definitely down to them. Has probably took about an hour and a half out of a day. I haven't got time to fucking waste, you know what I mean? So fuck you, Leeds United, and your bloody tickets and your new system and your seat geezer or whatever it's called. Fucking knobheads.
Well, thanks for sharing, Mac. It is good to talk.
Good to
get it off your chest.
I've just received my email for my digital season ticket. That'll be interesting.
Good luck, Barney.
Yeah, thanks. I've forgotten my password already.
So, in an interview with the Daily Mail, and we'll wrap it up quick because I know you've got your anniversary, Barney.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say happy anniversary, Barney. 15 years.
Happy anniversary.
15 years, and I know I don't look old enough for it. 15 years.
15 years married today, and a very happy anniversary to Mrs. Barney as well.
Thank you very much.
Anniversary.
So very quickly then, Calvin Phillips in the Daily Mail, going to Manchester United. There was never any chance of me going there. You know my loyalty to Leeds. My family are all Leeds. I was honoured by Manchester United wanting me, one of the biggest teams in the world, but I had to stay loyal to Leeds and go to the other side of Manchester. It's just the way I am. I want to be loyal to the people who have given me the biggest opportunity in the world. Barnes?
It's been totally taken out of context. They've thought, right, loyalty, that means you've got to stay at Leeds United forever. No, it doesn't. This is modern day football. He's probably one of the first players to be on the team sheet for England. He should be playing at the top level. He should be playing with the best players and against the best players. He's at that age where he could just stay at Leeds, coast along, not challenge himself. He's had chance to go to Villa before, but no, he wanted to stay in the Championship to get promoted with Leeds again.
Championship,
yeah. He deserves this chance. David Batty left at similar age, similar time of the era where Leeds were at. He went to a club, Blackburn, because they had massive money then. He won the Premier League, even though he refused to take the Premier League medal because he was injured in the majority of that season anyway. But this is football. It's not about there's no loyalty in football as such. The thing when he was saying about loyalty was that he'd never go to Scum. He wouldn't do it because he wants to be still connected to the city. He's gone to Leeds City. He's gone to City because he's always wanted to play under Pep. There's loads of interviews on LUFC TV that talking about how from 5 years ago he always wanted to work under Pep, and he's managed to get that dream. My only dream now is that when Batty left, he came back at 30, and his contract at City is 5 years. So Phillips will come back, and that's when we're in the Champions League, and Joffrey is our top scorer, and Jesse Marsh has won the FA Cup next season for us. There you go.
Well, I certainly hope so. Right, a few of your comments, and then final thoughts, and we'll let Barney go off and enjoy his anniversary night. Leeds United should sign Bon Mati. Yep, I'd love to see more investment in Leeds women. I think that would only be a good thing for the club. Matt Leeds, did you watch the NRL when you lived in Australia? I watched State of Origin regularly, if that helps. Phil McCracken. Never put the key to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. Is this a reference to your name, Phil McCracken? If they somehow misplace their genes, you're in for a rough time. He's also said, Phil Hay tweeted, we've offered 2-year deal to Alioski. I don't think he has, Phil, because I've just looked up Phil's tweets and I can't find it. We are leaving it late for the kit sales and the away shirt. Yep. Okay. Final thoughts. Mac?
Phil's not in the loop anymore anyway. He's out of the loop, so he won't know fuck all. But to be honest, it's not a stupid idea, that. You probably better pick him up cheap. He knows the club. We do need a left back. I don't want to be stupid. You know, if Firpo, hopefully becomes the player that we think we've signed, you don't really want another big, name or an expensive left back. You want somebody who can fill in there. Maybe Alioski can do it. So, I think he brings a very different. He's not the best, most technically gifted player, but I do think he brings a character and atmosphere to the team, which maybe we need. I think we look a bit lightweight at times, so having a bit of a character in there, a bit of a shit house, then good. So not the stupidest idea, whether it's true or not, I don't know. Final thoughts. By the way, my final thought is happy birthday to El Loco, Marcelo Bielsa. So he shares your wedding anniversary, so it's Marcelo's birthday today. So I think the thing about Phillips, that's why I thought about him actually, because I don't necessarily think Phillips did want to always play Pep. I think what he wanted to do was play for another manager that coached and treated his team the way that Bielsa did. And that's what, Pep's a protege of Bielsa. So I think he definitely that would have been a draw for Phillips, because let's be frank, Bielsa made Phillips the player that he was and brought not just the footballer out of him that he was, but brought the human being out of him. He's the best version of himself he could be at the moment, isn't he, Calvin? And that's in many ways down to Bielsa. So I think that's why he's gone to Man City as well, because he wants to be coached by in a similar ethos, in a similar way, with a similar mantra. So yeah, happy birthday, Marcelo Bielsa. I hope he's having a brilliant time and eating some nice steak and having a nice glass of Argentinian red sat out there in Rosario. That's my final thought.
Okay, happy birthday, Marcelo. And Barney, final thoughts.
Just enjoy the rain for the next few days, because it's going to get hot again next week. And
I love it.
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of all conspiracy theories or anything, but the connection between people who don't believe vaccine, that have gone down the rabbit hole of don't believe in climate change, and the thought that those 2 days of the heat wave here was just a heat wave. That was no fucking heat wave. I've not experienced that sort of heat before. I mean, I started work at 7 o'clock on Monday morning, and it was absolutely fucking sweltering. I could have had a sunbathe at 6 o'clock in the morning. Someone I work with, he said it was that hot. He woke up at 4 o'clock and slept on his garden furniture because he was that hot. It was that ridiculously hot. So just enjoying the rain the next couple of days. The garden needs it, and we'll be back sunbathing next week and drinking Carling.
Right? Yeah.
I haven't been that hot since. Well, that's what Adonis is. I haven't been that hot since I was laying on my sofa covered in baby oil last week. I have watched that. I've watched that podcast back a couple of times, as I don't always do. And I watched it in bed when my missus was next to me, and I got punched about 3 times because I was still pissing myself.
I listened to it again the other day, and it was very, very funny, especially the last bit. Right, 157 days until Christmas. Barney says Bremner. There you go. Smash the like, says Derek Moore. Happy wedding anniversary, Barney. Mine is tomorrow, says Bandy. Happy birthday, Marcelo, says Bremner. And how blessed we are to have you on today, then. Hope the missus is all right with it. Lol, says Nora.
She's just recovering from doing Ofsted yesterday, so she's fine.
Right, yeah. Stay hydrated. Wear a hat. What do they say in Australia? Slap on a hat, slip on some sunscreen, and slop on a shirt.
Where are we going here? Where are we going?
Definitely down the same rabbit hole there.
Slop it all over the place.
Splash it all over. As Henry Cooper used to say, splash it all over.
Yes. If you're in Australia, have an enjoyable day at the game tomorrow, and come on, Leeds, buy a left back, get a striker,
buy a fucking striker, for fuck's sake.
Come on, Leeds.